What's going on, guys? Welcome to another one of Black Iron's battles. I apologize that it's been so long, but we're back with some more Total War Warhammer 2 1 versus 1 action. We've got the Greenskins here, and we're going up against some evil woodies, some pointy ears. No, I'm just kidding, guys. I like the elves myself. The wood elves are actually my favorite of the elves, but we had to take them down this time with some greenskin action. So I'm sorry for these extended aways, but I've been trying to get everything back in order, and I've actually just been having a hard time making videos, to be honest. But hopefully we'll be getting more of this content up for you guys soon, and hopefully you guys enjoy what we got for you today. So today I've got Grimgor himself. You can see him charging in here. And we do have Gitsnick. We've got WAAAAGH, of course. And we've got Stand Your Ground and Foe Seeker. So he's the most expensive he can be. Grimgor, it's the only way I take him. He's ready to fight. And I think he can take pretty much any of the Greenskin Lords. Durthu will mess him up pretty good, actually. I'm lying. But, he'll get some shots in on him. We've also got 3 groups of Savage Orcs up here, which is not the best idea. They don't have any armor. They don't have any way to deal with Dryads, which is actually what my opponent brought. So these guys are going to kind of be countered here, even with their frenzy, giving them that 36 melee attack, which is why I like them. But luckily, I do have some Orc boys mixed in here. And so we do have a big, wide front line. We've also got both of those Goblin Regiments renowned. We've got the 8-peak Loonies for their for those dwarf swinging fanatics, those loons. And then we've also got the Warlords boys there for their armor sundering. The loons also give poison, which is pretty nice when you get them mixed in there with the front line. We've got 3 groups of Orc Biggins. Those guys are there to even though they don't have shields, which they kind of won't be able to defend as well against the ranged units of the Wood Elves. They can they are anti-large. They'll take down any of those large builds that kind of come from the Wood Elves now. Especially or any of the Wild Riders, things like that. Black Orcs, of course, are the best infantry you could get, and we're gonna try to use them to take down any elite infantry the Wood Elves have. Now these Goblin Wolf Riders, I was hopefully gonna bring them around into the archers or something like that, but then on this map like this, it's kind of perfect for funneling. So they're really more gonna be a defensive unit at this point, and just kind of try to keep me from getting surrounded here on my Hammer of Gork, that Goblin Rock Lobber. And this guy I figured would be pretty good on this map. But, I've still got to get into range. And you can see over here, he does have a Lord up high up there. So it won't be as good as I had hoped. You can see here, the last but not least, we do have the Night Goblin Shaman in there, the Maggot. And he does have the Wand of Jet. He's got Sneaky Stabbing and, of course, Vindictive Glare. So the Vindictive Glare is going to come in big in this match. I'm going to be just blasting that thing off all game. So it's going to be a real fun time. Over here for my opponent, you can see he's got all those Dryads I was talking about. So he's got 5 Dryads here in the front. And those guys will cut right through my front line unless we get a good charge with the WAAAAGH. So that's what we'll have to do, as you see here. Because these Dryads with that magic damage, they'll cut those, they'll do pretty well. We've also here in the back, you can see here, there's some Wild Riders with shields. Those shields, I mean, maybe against Mogrubs or some Spider Riders with, but the shields aren't as helpful, I don't think, against the Orcs. But we'll see if I can go ahead and catch them up and maybe take them down. You can see here 2 groups of Way Watchers. That's just a huge spend, huge amount of damage. And to supplement them, here you go. Up here is the Glade Lord. So you can see that Glade Lord has got a little bit too close there. You can see the Glade Lord. Where are we at? So the Glade Lord has the Prey of Anathrama. You can see he's got Arrows of Kurnus. He's got the Banner of the Eternal Queen to give that ward save to itself. Just tons and tons of stuff. So that's a pretty expensive Glady up there. And with the Way Watchers, I mean, they can pretty much snipe something out pretty easily. See here, we've got some Wildwood Rangers getting into place, 2 groups of War Dancers. So there's the anti-infantry of theirs. And so hopefully, I think they're thinking these armor-piercing Way Watchers will take down Black Orcs or stuff like that. That the War Dancers will help clean up any chaff or goblins. Wildwood Rangers, armor-piercing. And then he does have this Tree Man, which is kind of on occasion, it's pretty hard for the Greenskins to deal with these large units not having that much dedicated anti-large, but at the same time, I think I should be able to deal with the Treeman just fine. You can see he's going to have a hard time with these Wild Riders just because it's not a lot of mobility going on here. But we're going to go ahead and get this match started right off the bat so you can see what's going on. So you can see here we've got 1190 to 737, so I've got the troop count In the balance of power, we're all just kind of going to be positioning. I'm going to try to get something to make sure and take this, because at this point I can't see what's up here. So I'm not sure what's going on, but I want to make sure to get some vision up there. So I'm going to go ahead and send some black orcs, make sure nothing's sneaking around the back. And I'm just going to try to keep getting my hammer of Gork right into place. And you see there right away, it just misses a little bit. There's the first Vindictive Glare, and that one I don't think was overcast. He returns, and Arrows of Kurnus right there, smacking into the hammer of Gork and killing a couple of goblins. But we're still okay. You know, I think we're gonna have to get a couple more of the boys in place and get that thing moving. So that was probably not the best use of Arrows of Kurnus. I would have been using it to, you know, I would at this point been trying to kill that Night Goblin Shaman. I mean, you see there was an arrow or two. I think he's firing in there. He's taking some shots, but we're going to get another overcast. Boom! Right into his face, and look at the health damage that does. I mean, he's only got 2,600 health. That did like almost a third of his health now, and he's got to get out of there. So you can see he's going to retreat, and you see here the big army of Greenskins coming in. And they're ready, boys and girls. They're going to be getting right into these Dryads. And the Dryads don't have a great charge bonus, so we will get a little bit better with the Savage Orcs 28. You see here, we're coming in and just boom, everyone engages. And as you can see, with the wall activated just a second too late. But, I mean, we're doing some pretty good damage initially against those Dryads. But they will, you know, if we left engaged for too long, they would start to win. But right now, we've got WAAAAGH activated. We're doing major damage, and a lot of those Dryads are starting to take heavy hits. Here in the back, you can see some damage has been done with the Hammer of Gork, but he's still firing in there. He's going to take some shots in the back here at this group of War Dancers, and the Treeman is right here amongst the Orc boys there, and he's going to do some good damage. But that's alright, those guys are nice and cheap. Here in the back, the AP Loonies are engaged against the War Dancers. And with the War Dancers low armor, those AP Loonies will actually do pretty well against them, especially if you see some of the rocks there from the rock lobber coming in and hitting some of their own boys, but that's pretty normal for the orcs, huh? So the Way Watchers have been focusing on Grimgor. You can see him. Grimgor stops and dodges. It's perfect dodge. All the arrows land in front, but he's got to keep moving, otherwise he's going to pretty much be dead with like the next shot. But as you can tell, a lot of those Dryads have routed off, the front line being broken. And here in the back, those Orc Biggins are going to engage right with those Wildwood Rangers, and that is not good. There's some more. And those rocks actually are hurting the Biggins more than the Wildwood Rangers. At the same time, you can see the Orc boys. I'm trying to get them right here into the back of these Wildwood Rangers, and we're just trying to surround and destroy each group. See here on the right, we've got the Savage Orcs surrounding, using those AP Loonies surrounding there. You can see here the Wildwood Rangers are surrounded. But I mean, it is you know, going actually pretty well for the Greenskins over here. You can see in the back we're chasing off the Way Watchers. Those Way Watchers are gonna have to waste some ammo shooting at these Biggins and these Savage Orcs, which is pretty good for me, while we just stay up here in the front line and keep killing War Dancers. Here at this point, you can finally see that those Wildwood Rangers were taken down so quickly. They're like real glass cannons. The Orc boys are gone. The Orc Biggins are pretty heavily hurt, but at the same time, that's okay. Over here on the right, let's go ahead and take a look at what the Treeman's doing, and he is just doing a massive amount of damage here. You can see him just smashing into that, just groups of orcs, those angry groups. You can see the Savage Orcs, oh my god, just sending everyone flying. But over time, he will take some damage. So you can see his health slowly going down. There's some Black Orcs that are finally getting engaged with him, and those Black Orcs over time, although they don't have great anti-large, they will start chopping them down. You see here the AP Loonies are engaged with some more Dryads. Came back. These War Dancers are still alive over here. And it is just an even battle. Here in the back, finally, you can see that the Wild Riders have came into place. They actually killed all of my Hammer of Gork rock lobber. They got shattered. And then we actually got into them pretty hard with those Goblin Wolf Riders. You can see the Wild Riders with shield actually took almost half their health and damage. And now we're going to be going after them with the Warlord's Boys to apply that Armor Sundering, which will take that armor down really low, and then these Orc Biggins should be able to get in there with their anti-large as well. So that big 67 charge bonus will come in there, get those Warlord's Boys pretty good, and that actually might shake them off before they get any damage done, but that's alright. We're just going to keep those expensive units kind of running around in the back while we just slowly surround and chop down this tree. So we got to get the axes out, we got to keep chopping, and it is just so much fun to watch this tree as it just smashes units apart. But, you know, we've still got the Night Goblin Shaman. He's been just shooting at this Glade Lord the whole time. You see the Glade Lord's down to 600 health. And, you know, we've actually shattered off those Wildwood Rangers. You can see another, and almost takes the Glade Lord out, but he does break. So the Glade Lord is just going to be routing off, along with some Dryads. And over here on the left, you can also see that the Way Watchers are pretty much out of ammo. They've gotten a ton of kills. You see they're shooting into the Orc boys. And the Orc Biggins there, the Orc boys are kind of blocking a few of the arrows with their shields. We've got the 8-peak Lunans kind of going to go and get in there. And those guys are those Way Watchers going to have to engage in melee. But just with the broken nature of these few Greenskin troops, I'm pretty sure that they're going to go ahead and take them down. Here in the middle, you can see this group of Wild Riders, just 120 kills is up to it, just riding down Black Orcs. Those Black Orcs are broken, and it is just back and forth. Luckily for us, though, we have taken out the Treemen, and that was a huge part of that Wood Elf roster. So you can see there, Grimgor chasing that Treeman, and he's just going to chase him. I think I'm going to have him chase him all the way off the field. So Grimgor is just going to start chasing. We're going to start regrouping as much as we can. The Night Goblin Shaman over here is just trying his best to get some Winds of Magic back. We've got a couple groups of Orc Boys and Savage Orcs here. You see there's a whole group of Orc Biggins, which was just chasing around those Wild Riders and never really got to do much. But, you know, we're just kind of regrouping. Luckily, we still do have Grimgor, because if we didn't, we'd be in for some real trouble. The Greenskins always have that, you know, that problem with their leadership, so... luckily for us, there's not a lot of troops left. You can see here, if we take a look, there's 191 troops left for the Wood Elves compared to 261 for me. You see there, those War Dancers, 19 of them remaining. We've got some Dryads over here. But really what is this huge bundle of Way Watchers? I mean, even though they're not great in melee, that's just a large number of troops. At the same time, I think the balance of power is taking into effect this Treeman, which we're going to make sure we chase off. If he comes back and gets some good hits on top of Grimgor, we'd be in for some real trouble. Over here, you can see the Wild Riders trying to use their mobility to kind of circle around and get around my Greenskin horde. But at this point, I mean, I'm feeling pretty confident. I've got a whole group of Biggins over here. These Black Orcs should be alright. And in comes, there it goes, the Vindictive Glare takes out the Glady. There she goes, hits the ground. And that is it. The Goblin, Night Goblin Shaman is victorious. So at the same time, you can tell that they do not want any more of those Vindictive Glares. They're going to get some good damage done on him. But they're not going to be able to kill him because there's just too much other troops coming in. You see these just regular Orc boys getting in there, and they're just trying to do everything we can to catch those Wild Riders. At the same time, over here, we've got two groups of Black Orcs. Look at that. They're engaged against Dryads. They're engaged against Way Watchers, which are coming in there. And there is not many. There's only 16 of those Black Orcs left. They're supported by a big group of 53. And this is just a hard match for the Elves. Look at that. You can see just two-handed axes just cutting Elves apart. And I mean, these guys will hold just because of sheer numbers and leadership. But at the same time, those Black Orcs over time, they will get ground down. You see, we lost 6 Black Orcs there, so that group of 10 is going to rout off. But we still have 53, so these guys are not going down. Still have plenty of health left, and they're going to slowly begin to chop these guys apart until, boom, in comes those Wild Riders. Oh, and that'll take out a couple of Black Orcs right there. That can cause some real trouble. But at the same time, he's got to keep moving. He does not want to keep engaged against those Black Orcs, and we just want those Black Orcs to kill as many units as they can. We've got to wait and just hold until we can get some of these Biggins and these Orc boys in here. You can see here the group of Wild Riders is chasing off in the background. But at the same time, I think that's going to be just overwhelming force is going to take them down. See, Grimgor himself is running in from the sideline there, having just sent the Treemen off into the sands. And those Black Orcs are still in there. They've got sneaky stabbing on them now, bringing them up. They were up to 63 melee attack. So they were just killing everything around them. The rest of these Wood Elf troops are surrounded now. They're surrounded by just a screaming horde of Greenskins. You see they're just all over. And there's just not much looking good for them. And here in the back, you can see this Wild Rider's going to try to take out the Night Goblin Shaman, which they should have been doing all along. But I do not think that it is going to be in time. You can see there, everything breaks, everything shattered, and that's the end of that. So it's like a really fun, really close battle. They had some good counters to my units. You see a good number of kills here done on these Dryads. With the orc boys and the savage orcs, we just had good numbers, so we were able to kind of soak up a lot of the damage. He was able to really use those wild riders to good effect. He got them into the back lines of many different units, but we were able to kind of chase them off for about half of the match. We kept them occupied. A lot of those kills were on goblin wolf riders, which are pretty cheap. The hammer of Gork probably killed more of its own units than enemy units, but it was still a lot of fun. I still enjoyed it. Made my opponent approach, which is always nice. And it was just overall was a fun match. So I just liked blasting the whole time with that Night Goblin Shaman. I mean, that Glady was not moving as much as it should have been. If you're up against a Vindictive Glare guy, you've got to keep moving. So you saw we were able to get some good kills of the Savage Orcs and the Orc Boys on that charge. We were a little bit late with the WAAAAGH, so the charge effect wasn't activated, but, we still did pretty good with the melee attack, and they were able just to rout off those Dryads. Not without the Dryads getting some pretty good kills too, but just not enough to save the day. I think that the Wild Rangers and the War Dancers needed a little bit more troops mixed in with them to keep them alive a little bit longer, keep them from getting singled out. Although the Way Watchers did single out Grimgor, they didn't manage to finish him off, and the tree men kind of got surrounded and cut down slowly but surely. So overall, it was just a really fun game. My opponent with the Woodies, he just he did pretty well, but he did not bring a caster. So I do hear people say that no caster builds are relevant because they do allow you to bring a lot more, but I do always advocate bringing a caster. So if you don't bring a caster, then you miss out on all of the benefits that you get from the Winds of Magic. You can always get a cheap caster. I mean, you saw my caster here is only worth about 500 gold. And if you spam Vindictive Glare in that, and you get some sneaky stealing in there, or some sneaky stabbing rather, then it works out pretty well to your advantage for just a really, really low investment. Overall, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. I know I'm not the most reliable guy lately, but I'm trying my best to get back into it, to get some videos out, and to have some fun. So, keep on checking back. Check me out and watch my videos, guys, if you like it. Go ahead and like and subscribe. Comment below. If you haven't messaged me in a while and I haven't heard from you, I'd love to hear from you guys. So just go ahead and keep on tuning in, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and this has been another one of Black Iron's Battles.